Yeah, folks, what's up, and welcome everybody to Fireside, where we are live. My guest today is Kay Jennings, a voiceover artist, voice actor. Just showed up. For those that are wondering, we're actually live. So let me invite you to the video. All right. Just gonna wait for a few people to filter in. I believe. Woo! Welcome everyone to Paul Vato Presents. My name is Paul Vato, and my guest today is Lisa Kaye Jennings, who's a voice actor. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here and gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
I love it. I want to delve a little bit into your career and what it's like doing voiceover and how it, because it's acting and things like that, and maybe where you grew up a little bit. Do you want to maybe start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Who is Lisa Kaye Jennings?
Wow, an existential question to start things off. I'm a voice actress. I am from Ohio. I'm a mom and an avid Shih Tzu lover.
You almost got me there.
Yeah.
I just heard the beginning of the word. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? Wait, what's going on?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Amazing. Do you? And you probably shouldn't give me your address, but do you live in Ohio currently, or?
No, I live in LA.
Could someone that lives, say, in Ohio or somewhere else, work from there in the voiceover world, or do they actually have to be? Do you think in one of the coasts, LA or Chicago or New York, or I know Chicago's not a coast, but.
It's very important though. Yeah, I mean, it depends what kind of voiceover you want to do. And the world is changing so fast with everything that's happened since COVID that who knows anymore. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you can do voiceover from anywhere. You can do commercials and program, there's all kinds of things you can do with voiceover. If you want to do animation, you're probably going to have to live in LA. However, again, who knows? It's all changing. Like all my auditions lately have even said, like, just let us know if you're not in LA. It's because we're still recording from home on our Nickelodeon series. And so I think it's just the world's just changing. It's changed a lot, even without COVID, since I first, began this journey. It's always changing. So.
Amazing. When did you make your move, say, from Ohio to LA, and were there any other steps in between? Did you ever try New York, or was it really Ohio to LA?
I actually went from Ohio to New York, and I lived in Manhattan for a year, though I wasn't there very much of that year. I was doing regional theater, so I was traveling. I went to Alaska, and I did a show there for a few months, and then I lived in Florida and did a show there for a few months, and then I went back to Ohio after that show. My lease had ended in New York, and I said, I want to go to LA. So I bought a car and I drove across the country and, started LA. So Ohio, New York, Alaska, Florida, and then finally settled on LA.
Amazing. So it sounds like you were, and so a stage actor first. I was having trouble at first going like, because we're all actors, voice actors are actors, and on camera. Have you done on camera acting as well, and then that led you into voiceover, or how did you get into voiceover?
I got into voiceover, oddly enough, when I was in college, studying stage acting. When you're in those programs, I'm sure you also focus on speech and voice. That's a whole other class. And in that speech and voice class, my professor had done voiceover in Canada, and he said, I want to give you guys, even though it's not in our curriculum, I want to give you a crash course in voiceover. And it was kind of funny because I went to a really competitive school with like a very serious like cut system. Like after every semester, it was like, hey, out of here, become a business major. You're no good, or we'll let you stay a little longer and see if you can prove yourself, And they would always set you down and tell you what was wrong with you and what you needed to improve on if you wanted to stay in the program. And for my whole time in college, it was you talk too fast, you need to work on your speech, you have too much tension in your tongue, all this stuff, right? And so after this little crash course in voiceover, my professor was like, hey, all that stuff that we've been telling you not to do, that is actually going to serve you really well. You're really good at this thing. Like, you're standing out in this area. You need to pursue voiceover and forget everything that we've told you. So it's quite a, I was like, all right.
Okay.
So that's how I got started. And then he referred me to someone named Rocco Del Vera, who had written a book on voice and speech. He was a professor at CCM in Cincinnati, Ohio. And he was an amazing, wonderful person. And he helped me, decide what kind of voice do you have and what will that sell, and how should we make a demo? And it was not an animation demo. However, it kind of became one because I did all these character voices of little kids, selling McDonald's French fries and things like that. And he set me on the path, and he helped me create like an amazing demo. And that's how I got started. That was a long story.
I sometimes like to find out if you don't mind talking about, say, your upbringing or your parents, are they in the arts, or was your father an actor or your mother a voiceover artist, or did this just come about, and were they supportive on your journey? Have they been supportive on your journey?
Oh, they've been wonderfully supportive. They are not artists. My dad has his degree in sociology, and he worked with special needs people to help them join the work industry. Like, so he helped train people with special needs at various jobs, and among other things. My mother also worked in special education and was a teacher. And so just teaching and working with people, that's what my parents did. Super supportive of me the whole way. I started out as a ballet dancer. They put me in lessons when I was in first grade. And I wanted to be a dancer when I grew up. That was like my big dream, and that's everything that I talked about and what I really wanted to do with my life, and they were really supportive of that. And I actually did go to college my first year as a dance major, and then I saw the acting. We had an acting class that the dance majors took, and it was like the bane of all the dancers' existence except for me. I was like, this is awesome. I love this. This is like the best part of the day. I was like, I want to do this. I can do this, and I can eat. Ballet dancers. We don't eat. So I really decided I wanted to switch course, and I was like, I don't want to dance anymore. I want to act. This is all I could talk about, and it was so much fun. And so I switched. I was like, can I please audition into the acting department instead, which tacked on another year to my college journey, but it was worth it because I found my passion, and acting, dancing led me to acting led me to voice acting, and it's all connected. So
amazing. That's wonderful. And was this was in Ohio? Is that where you went to school? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yeah. I glossed over that detail, but yes, I went to Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio.
Wonderful. And where in Ohio did you grow up? Because my mom spent a lot of time in Ohio, outside of Toledo, in a little farm town called Delta, which I don't think anyone's ever heard of. But so I do have an Ohio connection.
I grew up in southwest Ohio, called Sydney, Ohio.
Okay. I don't know where it is, but it sounds like it is closer to where I grew up, which is the Chicagoland area. So, but I have fond memories of spending in Ohio. So it's wonderful. There's a special place in my heart for Ohio.
We're fellow listeners.
Yes, we are. And I find that people like to work with us. there's this stigma, I think a good stigma, that I guess it'd still be called a stigma. I don't know, that we are industrious and hardworking, because whenever I show up on set and people find out I'm from Ohio, they're like, or from Chicago, like, oh, great, a Midwesterner or a Chicagoan, and then with the improv training and whatnot, it's like, forget it. It's like we're instant friends, and they know that we're there to work. So I think it's a compliment that we're Midwestern folk.
I agree. I couldn't agree more with that. I've had people be like, "Oh, you're on time," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course I'm on time. This is like my dream. I've been waiting in my car for 20 minutes."
Any earlier, it would have been too much.
To do this.
That's amazing. Yeah, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late, type of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. That's wonderful that we share the same work ethic, if you will. And
But
I would imagine
in LA though, when I moved here, I was always 15 minutes early, and people are like, "What are you doing here?" Like, everyone's late in LA, and so like I had to start adjusting to being 5 minutes early just so I wasn't like the weirdo.
but you still, with all the driving, I would imagine you would still be there. Like you said, 15. I don't think you were lying when you said, I've been in my car for 15 minutes waiting, because
No.
yeah, yeah, you're going to get there early. You're going to do the job. And I think that that's part of the reason that a lot of us get hired and hire each other.
Yeah.
Because, that whole Midwestern mentality and thing. And then, so around what year did you, if you don't mind sharing that, when did you make it out to Los Angeles?
I believe it was around 2008. I know I should know. I know people like to post their anniversaries of when they moved to LA, and I'm like, oh no, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I honestly have no idea. I'm pretty sure it was 2008.
Wonderful. Now, we have a very important question from the audience, from Mr. Chris Rossetti, and I'd assume it's a Ohio thing, because I don't get it. Skyline or Hold Star Chili?
All right. I guess I'd have to say Skyline. That's a very important question. I get it.
Is this a restaurant, or is there an actual chili company?
The Skyline's a chili restaurant chain. So
Got it.
I don't like, this is going to be hard to hear, but I don't like chili, but I would go there and have baked potatoes with like the mounds of shredded cheese, and like, but I had to pick one. I'd pick Skyline. They make a hell of a potato.
Wonderful. Okay. I think we should do some commercials for them. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. So you make your way out to LA. I was in LA around 2008. I didn't leave till a couple years later, when I came out to Las Vegas. But did you start working right away, or did you come out there already with something lined up, or what was that like? Because I know that a lot of new people are always like, well, how do I get into voiceover, and how does that happen? Were you already doing voiceover when you got to LA?
I wasn't doing voiceover. I had the demo that I'd made in Ohio, and I'd sent it out in New York with no bites. I immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna hop on this. I'm here. And my first day in LA, I made friends with a wonderful human who is still one of my dearest friends today, named Lucas Falkler. And he's a music engineer, and among many other things that he does. But he has this whole studio set up in his bedroom in the house that he shared with all of his roommates. And he was unemployed. And I was like, hey, I need to use your equipment. So we kind of made a business deal. There were like websites, I think that they still exist, called like voices.com or voices123, and you can get voice work on these when you're non-union and you don't have an agent. You can submit, but you have to be able to record them. So I said, hey, if you record all of my auditions for free, and help me send them in and do all the technical things, anything I book, if I book anything, I will give you 50%, which I know is a huge, like, people's jaws always drop, like 50%, your agent only gets 10. I was like, yeah, but I didn't have any equipment. I didn't have any, I had, I thought it was a good deal. And I still think it was a good deal. And we became best friends. Every day I go over to his house. We look up auditions. Anything I was right for, I hopped in his closet and we recorded them, sent them out. And pretty soon we had clients. We had like regular clients. We had a regular workflow. I was waiting tables on the side as well to support myself. And that's really how I got started. And when I finally did meet my agent, and I was able to tell her like, hey, I'm already working, like I'm already doing this for myself, she was really impressed by that. And that really helped me get in the door. And then I did book my first union job my first year out here. It was for Robot Chicken. And they'd actually, my agent represented, I don't know if she still represents Dakota Fanning, but at the time she represented Dakota Fanning. And so Robot Chicken reached out and was like, hey, we want Dakota to come on the show, because they always have celebrities going on there. And she was like, I don't want to have my client go on and make fun of herself, but I have this new client who sounds kind of like her. Hire her. And they did. They hired me, and that's how I got my first job, and that's how I got into SAG and everything. So that was how it all started.
Wonderful, wonderful. It just shows, our industrious nature, that it's if it needs to get done, it will get done. And I don't think 50% is a lot, because realistically, like I said, you're already paying. If you have a manager, if you have an agent, it's 10%. If you have a manager, that could be 20%. So now you're at 30. So so you give up half, but now you didn't come out of pocket to invest in any kind of equipment. You didn't have to spend thousands of dollars to do that. And what a great trade-off, where you kind of have a professionally edited demo. Audition to submit. So I think that's more than fair. I thought that's great.
Yeah. And I got an education too in how to edit. He'd be like, no, you're not going anywhere. I'd be like, I'm the talent, I should get to go home now. He's like, no, sit here and watch me edit this. And I learned how to edit just by watching him, to a very small degree, like taking out breaths and things like that. So yeah, I got a lot out of it.
Do you do that now yourself, though? I mean, as far as for auditions and submissions, do you lay down the track and then do the editing, or what's your process now?
Gosh, it's changed over the years. It used to be that you would go in to the agent's office and you would perform, and they'd give you feedback, maybe say, do that one again, do it like this. And then they would edit out the breaths and send it out. And you didn't have a whole lot of control. If you're like, no, I really want that take. And they're like, no, you didn't have a whole lot of control. But it was nice to have the feedback. But then as things changed over time, they started expecting you to have a setup at home. It was like a really slow progression. And it would be like some of them I would do at home, and then I would go in for some. And now I solely, especially because of COVID, I do everything from home. I record it in my booth, which I'm in right now. And when it's done, I sit there and I edit, I splice, I take out I do like an ABC of all my lines. I pick the right take, I take out the breaths, and then I export it out. So yeah, it's a huge difference from where it started, though, where you just walked in not knowing anything and then you just performed. So it's been a learning curve.
Oh gosh, wonderful, wonderful. Wait, you know what? Your camera is frozen. Somebody just told me that. I'll probably just edit this out of the podcast. You look great, though. You look like this. So I think if you exit, drop into the audience and then come back up here, I'll make you a producer so you can kind of do it on your own, or I can. Thank you, Rock. Rock's my producer, I guess, in the audience. Drop into the, if you don't mind, leave the stage, and then I'll invite you back up.
Okay, I just hit leave the stage. Got it.
Yeah, leave the stage and see if that works. Or now I still see you up here. Okay, there, perfect. Let me invite you back up. Thank you, Rock. I really appreciate it. Even though I'm wearing glasses, it's like I'm half blind, so I I didn't know. And I'm looking at the camera, not looking at Lisa. We'll edit all this out. For those of you listening live, that's what happens. Invite to video. Lisa, are you able to come back up? Invite to speak. Sorry, folks, just a little technical difficulty. No worries. Thank you guys all for being here. Yes, a round of applause. And thank you for clarifying that, Rock. I didn't even see it. I don't know how the sleepy emoji came up when I pressed an entirely different one before this message. How dare you? Are we boring you, Rock? I'm just kidding. Paul, we can give the camera access again, and it should fix it. It does also say that there's new updates. So, Lisa, I don't know if you're not getting... I'm gonna make you a producer. Maybe that will help. If you can bring yourself up on stage. If not, we might have to end the show and start it over again if you have time. Not start it over, just continue it. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna practice my putting. Yay! Okay. And yes, accept request.
What's going on, Mr. Paul Vato?
Jason,
good to see you.
Okay, let's see if this works. Jason, let me see if I can. I'm doing an interview, but we're having technical difficulties.
Sure.
Lisa, you might have to. Yeah, okay, so that works. Lisa, invite to video. I'm going to invite you again. If you can hear me, you might have to exit the app and then come back in because it is working.
Maybe turn off your Wi-Fi and rely only on cell connection. That might help.
Oh, Lisa's back. Let me invite her to. Let's see if this works. Invite to video. Jason, thank you for helping us out.
Thank you. Just thought I'd help you out for a sec.
Yeah,
have a good one.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Lisa, can you hear me? I'm gonna check Instagram real quick and see if you're messaging me over there. No. Okay, we're good. Let's see. Fireside. Okay. All right, we got everybody else coming up. Barsha.
Lisa's muted. Lisa needs to unmute. Lisa, on the bottom.
Lisa, unmute. There it is.
There we go.
And then Lisa, are you getting my video invite? Are you able to go back on video, invite to video? And don't worry, folks. We'll chop all this out for the final podcast.
While I'm here,
I accept.
Can I ask Lisa a question?
Barsha, what a sneaky way to come up and poach my guest. But yes, of course, Lisa, I really think you should know Deborah Barsha. Deborah's an amazing person. She's a fellow supermodel like me. She and I have an improv group called the Supermodels. And Deborah is in the music industry. I'm sorry, Deborah, please introduce yourself. And yes, of course.
I work in theater more than anything, but your voice, I'm really into different voices, is so familiar. I'm driving and I look like Charles Nelson Riley with these glasses, but I was going to ask you, do we know currently any commercials or movies that you're in? Because I totally recognize your voice.
Well, I'm currently in Big Nate, which is an animated series streaming on Paramount Plus, soon to be streaming on Nickelodeon. And then, I guess I'm most well known for Lila Rossi on Miraculous Ladybug, which I use a lot of my own voice in. So if you have anybody in your family that watches Miraculous, you might have heard me in the background being a total bitch.
Have you ever done commercials too? Because you have such a great voice for.
Thank you. I have done some. I just did one a couple weeks ago, actually. But that was a regional for, I think, Texas somewhere. So I don't think you will hear it unless you happen to be in Texas. But I have done Domino's, Coca-Cola, Build-A-Bear over the years. I have some more things in there that I'm forgetting right now. So I have done some commercials.
Deborah, you must have such a great ear, though, being in music and being on Broadway and whatnot. That's amazing that you're able to pick out Lisa's voice. Oh, I think now Deborah's frozen. I don't know what's going on here. Fireside, what's up? Don't worry, we're gonna edit all this. Let me see what's going on with Deborah. And then Lisa, you're off camera again.
Oh, again?
Yeah, let me invite you again.
That's weird.
Oh, you know what? I see like your camera, but it's blank. Are people? I don't think it's. Yeah, let's try it again. Let me. And sorry for all the technical difficulty today. It's usually not like this, but it's okay. I'm gonna. If you have time, I'm gonna. We keep going, and I'll edit it.
Sure. There we go.
Accept.
Yes. Accept.
If not, we can just do voice also. But you're so pleasant to look at that.
Oh, you sweet talker.
Don't tell your husband.
I am accepting your invitation, but it's not showing up.
Yeah, it's because it's so. All right. You know what? I'll probably, I'll just turn off. No, there you go. There you are. Okay.
Here.
And we're back. Welcome, folks. That was a message from one of our sponsors, and we're back. The joys of editing. I'll just make it seem flawless. But so Lisa, where do we kind of leave off? Well, and Deborah, thank you so much for coming up and asking that great question, which was something I was going to ask you about. Were the project? Yes, round of applause for Lisa and for the show. Thank you, guys. Lisa, what are those the big projects that you would most be known for? The ones that you mentioned, working for Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon?
Yes. So Big Nate is on both of those platforms, Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon, and it's brand new to the world. It came out in February, and just the first 8 episodes. So there'll be more of that to come. And then Miraculous, Ladybug, I've been on since I think 2015. So I've done that a lot longer. That was a really big project. It's got a very big fan following. An amazing group of fans. Really, they're really supportive and awesome. So, but that is probably what I am the most known for, and what I'm working on at the moment.
Would you mind, or is it like stand up? Like, oh, you do stand up? Tell me a joke. Would it be okay to ask you like a sample of these voices, or are you kind of like, no, I can't, or I won't? Because
I'll give you a little taste. Okay. I'm actually having a little voice trouble today as that happens, but sure. Let's see. So Gina is like this, and she's very nasally, and she's up here, and when she gets evil, she has a laugh like that's Gina from Big Nate. And then Lila, she's mostly like my real voice, but she's a little younger, and she's always kind of feigning like, I didn't mean to do this awful thing to you, and like, oh, so those are my two big voices at the moment.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now I know also, at least from what I've seen, that it's usually females that voice even like little boys and male characters, or are there men that actually voice little boys or little girls, or is it usually women that are able to do that?
I think it's usually women, but there are lots of guys who can do it. Our lead, Ben Giroux, is amazing as Nate, as a young boy. We have lots of other great actors on the show who do little boys, like Charlie Schlatter plays Chad. It's genius. So, I mean, men and women can do boys. And I've done many boy voices over the years. I like to do them when I can, like if I get to play like an extraneous character on Big Nate, like I'll do like a hey whatever guys, those kind of voices, or like little boy voices. It just depends, but I've done lots. And it's always fun just to be able to bounce around, gender bouncing.
I love it. What would you if I were doing my life story as a animation, how would you play little Paul Vato? Do you have a vision? How do you build this
I
voice?
don't know. That's on the fly. Gosh, I don't know. I think I would do like a very well articulated little boy voice. Who just someone maybe a little more. I can't think of the word right now. But I don't know what I would do vocally. I'd probably think about it for a long time. I try not to jump into voices unless I'm forced to. And I give it a lot of thought. So I was just
Wonderful.
studying.
I like hearing about the process, which is also, what you do. I'm sure, on when you're doing a stage acting or camera acting. So that's wonderful to know that there's also this process for voice. Now, I know that you also connect with your fans and followers. And I'm sorry, but you're frozen again. But I don't think it's gonna matter, because most of the time this podcast, it's just voice. People don't necessarily look at the camera. But let me ask you, you're on a few websites where people can actually buy your autographs and things like that. I think one of them was Jemmy. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And if people go to your LinkedIn, will they be able to find it?
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, you go to the link in my bio, it'll take you to like my link tree, which has all my links for things. Like I have my Jimmy account where you can go and buy like a shout out. So you would be like, hey, my sister loves your show, and it's her birthday. Can you do Lila's voice and wish her a happy birthday? So that's really fun. I also do Streamily, which is an live autograph signing site. I usually set those up like on this date, I'm going to be signing autographs, and you can watch me sign it live. But people also just go and buy my autograph kind of randomly, and then it gets sent out anywhere in the world, which is really cool. Streamily is an awesome company. So yeah, those are some really great websites that I work with.
Wonderful. That's great that you're accessible to your fans and all that. So that's wonderful. Do you do Cameo or anything like that as well?
I haven't done Cameo yet. I would like to. I need to look more into that, but that would be fun. Cameo is awesome.
I think that they would pick you up instantly. So I'm sure if you just submit, or I might have sort of a contact, just the person that got me on there. But I'd be more than happy to pass on your info to them, because I think you would do well on Cameo.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Cameo is awesome. So that's amazing. And you're doing Cameo, and that's fantastic.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm no Andy Dick, but yeah.
Not true at all.
Thank you. So what, any upcoming projects, anything in the pipeline that we should be looking for?
Well, more Big Nate is going to be coming out around the corner, and pretty soon it'll be streaming on Nickelodeon, so it'll be more accessible to everyone, which I'm really excited about. I am working on like a secret project that I can't talk about right now, but that's how things go. And more Miraculous is coming. If you are a Miraculous fan, I can't tell you anything about season 5, but we're all anticipating Lila to come and mess things up a lot. So let's just see if that comes to fruition, shall we?
I love it. Thank you. Well, I hope that when you can talk about your project, that you would come back and see us, and maybe we can break it here, or at least help promote it after the fact. So, of course, I'd love to have you. And it's just great to learn about an industry that I do enjoy, and I've done voiceover work, but I'm not, into it as much as you are. So that's fantastic. And thank you for being so generous with your time and your advice.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This has been so much fun, and I am honored that you asked me to come do this. It's amazing, and I'm a fan of your show. It's awesome. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. If somebody wants to get into, and then I think we're almost done. I don't know how much time you have. I know that you're very busy today, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I think the question that people always ask, how do I get into voiceover, or how do I do this? And if you have a short and quick answer, great. If not, we can always do another show based on that. But I have a feeling that most actors, whether they're either have no idea because they're not actors, or there are actors looking to get into voiceover. Could you share a little bit of advice on how that can happen, and then we can go to final thoughts and thanks and all that.
Sure. Well, I mean, if you're not an actor and you're interested in voice acting, then the first thing you should do is study acting, because it's a really key component. It's the second word, voice acting. And I think people forget about that. They think it's just making funny voices, and it's totally so much more. So if you really are interested in voice acting, even if it's, not animation, but you want to do commercial work from home, living in Ohio or wherever you are, you should definitely take an acting class and start honing your craft before because in voiceover is another skill set on top of that, but acting is, of course, the foundation. And then if you are an actor and you want to get into voice acting, then I would say take a voice acting class. I know that sounds very simplistic, but you have to spend time on the microphone. You have to spend time hearing yourself. You have to realize you don't have anything else to work with. You don't have facial expressions or body language. So all the energy comes through the mouth. And, you may be an amazing on-camera actor, but it's another skill to be able to put all that through the voice. So take a class, get comfortable with a microphone, get comfortable with how you have to make subtle differences with speaking so that you don't blow out the mic. And then just read out loud at home. That's like the best thing I could tell anyone to just improve, not only as an onstage or on-camera actor. That's going to improve your cold reading skills, your audition skills, but as a voice actor, just read out loud to the walls, to know.
Thank you. I never realized the importance of that, but I've heard so many people say that it's just a matter of reading to yourself. Reading out loud, though, spending the 15, 20, 30 minutes a day reading. So that's something that I've added to my repertoire, if you will. So thank you again so much, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing. Are you working today? Are you working on a project today, or is there anything going on that we should know about? Are you recording from home?
No, today is a day off from that. Today I have a lot of family obligations. I have to pick up my son from school and all those types of things. Today I set aside this time. This was my work today, doing this, and it's not all glamorous. Sometimes I just have to do a mom stuff.
Wonderful. Well, folks, thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm going to let Lisa tell us a little bit about, where we can find her. Yeah, you can also click right on the fortune cookie right below us, and her Instagram is there. So please give her a follow. Her link tree is there, which is what I meant to say, not LinkedIn, but her link tree, where then if you'd like to pick up some merch, you can do that. As a personal favor, I ask you to please find Paul Vato Presents on both Apple Podcast and Spotify, and give us a like and a follow and a great rating and all that good stuff. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys that are here. Lisa, do you have any final thoughts or any advice for either fellow voiceover actors and artists, or any final thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Just keep on going, there's always ups and downs, and just persevere, that's all I have to say. You just have to keep on moving. So
wonderful. I love it. And again, folks, you can find all of Lisa's information right below us there. And for me, you can just go to palvato.com. And I want to thank everyone for being here, and especially you, Lisa. Thank you for taking the time to be here and spending time with us and gracing us with your incredible talent. You have great voices, and I know people say that I can make funny voices, but thanks for that advice. Definitely take some acting classes to get into this amazing world of entertainment and whatnot.
Thank you so much.
Yes, please. You're very welcome, and let's everyone give Lisa Kaye a round of applause, and thank you guys.